for Shlema, for all the soldiers that are sick, they're wounded. All right, we're starting a new Sefer, and it's very hard to adjust, to go from something that was very spiritual, like the Unveils, the Shvatim Akdoshim, and now we're falling down into the physical world, to the lowest level, and now we're going to have to extract ourselves and go up. It was very easy to find Soidas, from the Avos. We know Maase Avos, Siman Abanim, whatever the Avos did, there you knew you had a Siman, and it was pretty easy to extract it. Now, the Torah is going to get much harder to try to press to give a Soid, because we're following the Bnei Israel, and there's going to be a tremendous Yerida, so the lights are not going to be so open. So Psukim that hold Soidas, every Pasuk, they require a bit more work in order for us to go down and extract it. So let's go into the Psukim, and we're going to see that. We're not going to be able to move much because this pasuk is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Ve'ele shmois b'nei Yisrael. These are the names of the Bnei Yisrael. Here, what do you mean by b'nei Yisrael? Who are you talking about? Let's see. Habai Mitzrayim, that are coming now to Mitzrayim. We're going to see why it's called it Mitzrayim again. It didn't say Le Mitzrayim, or, the Pasuk always chooses its words very carefully and says things. Es Yaakov. I'm not sure I understand that. What is this word has to do here? This is definitely out of place. Yaakov, Ishu Beisoi Bau. Yaakov, okay, we're going to see what it means, Ishu Beisoi, but Pshat Pashut, and every one of his children came with his family. The reason Bnei Yisrael doesn't fit in this sentence is because Yaakov will be there. If you had told me Beleshmois Bnei Yisrael, Abai Mitzrayim, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, I would swallow it. But if you're starting as the subject, Bnei Israel, and you start, first name you mention is the father of, it's Israel himself, then Bnei Israel is not, is incorrect. It's like when you say an adverb, and you're going to use a plural, but the adverb is in singular, it doesn't work in a sentence. People don't understand what you're meaning. That pasuk is almost the exact copy of the pasuk in Parashas Vayigash when the Bnei Israel went down to Mitzrayim. The truth, when when Yosef sent the chariots and everything, it says in the pasuk there in Parashas Vayigash, ve'ele shmois b'nei Yisrael, habayim Mitzrayim. So far we are identical. Now we don't have Ace, we have Yaakov, Uvanov, and then he doesn't tell us the names of the Bnei Yaakov. He's telling us the grandchildren of Yaakov. Bnei Bechor Yaakov Reuven, and that's the only one's going to be mentioned. And then Bechor Reuven, Chanach Uparu Chetzon Bekarmi, Reuvnei Shimon Yemuel Veyamin Beoyhad Beyakin Betzecha Beshol Ben Aknanis. So and so forth. But he's not going to say. But here, the next pasuk is going to be Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Look at the block. Reuven, Shimon, Levi. There's no vav. Yehuda. Then we attach Yehuda. Okay. Yisachar, Zevulun, Binyamin. Binyamin is not in his place here. Binyamin should have been at the end. But no, Binyamin is right with Issachar and Zevulun. Okay. But here then we have 3. We don't have 4 anymore. So why did you put 4? A block of 4, a block of 3. Here we have 4 Bnei Leah, 4 children of Leah. Here we have 2, and then we have Ben Rachel, the son of Rachel. There's no logical reason why this order should be respected like this. Done, Naphtali. Oh, now it's pairs. It's not anymore quadruples or triples, it's pairs. Dan Naphtali, comma, God Asher. Torah didn't write it that way for no reason. And by the way, they were alive? No. It says afterward, they were dead already. So why do you say here in the present tense, Habaim, they're coming now? But they can't come now. They passed away already. And what do you mean Yaakov also passed away? How is he coming now? It's not shaykh to say, so what? We just repeating a pasuk, or we reading a pasuk, and now he's going to say, look at this. Not only is they coming now, the pasuk is going to stress that they're coming. So, they came. They're coming, they came. So what was that? We're talking about a generation that is probably extinguished for already over, I think it was 80 years. Now you're telling me they came, and you insist that they came. How can they come? They're gone. Vayhi kol nefesh yotzei yerech Yaakov shivim nafesh. Like in Vayigash. So there were 70. Like we care. What if there were 71 or 69? What's the difference? When we're going to get to Parashas Beshalach, I will show you where all this comes out from. The Tamar, the date tree that has 70 branches. No, so there were 70. The Yosef Haya be Mitzrayim, and Yosef was in Mitzrayim. All right, I'm not going to dig into this pasuk today. It's too deep, this pasuk. Vayamos Yosef v'chol echa v'chol adorav. Then Yosef passed away. He was the first one, and all his generation. Uvnei Yisrael, Baru, Vayishreitzu, Vayirbu, Vayatzmu, Bimoed me'oid. They became plentiful everywhere. But to the point, Vatimale ha'aretz oisam. They filled the earth. Which one? Eretz Goshen or Eretz Mitzrayim? It says ha'aretz. It doesn't speak. I gave you a cloud. Whenever we talk about the physical land, it's always followed, the word Eretz is always followed by a noun. Eretz Yisrael. Now we're talking about the lower Eretz Yisrael. When we're talking Eretz Mitzrayim, we know we're talking about the land of the Sitra Achra, the Ervas Aretz, Mitzrayim. When we're talking about Ha-Aretz, the land, we're talking about the Shechina. It's a cloud from the Ramak, you know, the Moshe Cordovero. It's brought down also in Reb Shlomo Kabetz, the Rebbe of the Ramak, Husam Yagalaleinu. It's amazing. This Torah we have in our hands. I was talking to Reb Chaim Kabetz this week. I was walking on the ceiling, mamish like a fly. I understood to my level, which is not much, deciphering, because Reb Shlomo Kabetz, when he writes, it's condensed, and what you have under his words is so amazing and so deep. And Dari HaKodesh even learned a bit by Reb Shlomo Al-Kabetz. But in general, he was the Rebbe of the Ramak, the Beis Yosef learned by him. To show you the giant he was. That's the Baal Lechadoidi. He is the one who composed the song of Lechadoidi, which is full of soidas. We should have Aliyas Neshama, for us, Sipsoisam, Divras, Bakever, because now the lips are moving in the kever because of us, because we bring the Torah, and Beis Hashem shall be a schus for Olam Yisrael. So going back here, Vatimolei Haaretz, we're talking about the Shechina. All right. Bnei Israel are down here. They became plentiful, which is a physical attribute, there's a lot of them. And they feel the Shechina, right? Doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to arrive further than that, and please God, Hashem, see if I can arrive till here. On Shabbos, I'm going to give you the side of this pasuk, which encompasses all the reasons and everything about the Shirbud Mitzrayim. But what a side in that pasuk. Today I'll give you a side, and it's so big and so important that Bli Neder, I will make a short videos for the others to give it to you in 2 minutes and send it over, because here you have the side on how we came down to Mitzrayim and how we extracted ourselves from Mitzrayim. The whole thing is in this passage. Without fluff, without bringing you all what I'm going to bring them on Shabbos. On Shabbos, I'll build it up to show you. But for the others, you're going to see it's going to be a tremendous side. And this is the side of the Ramak in Toimer Devoira. Your future, what's happening to you, is in your hands. Don't look at anyone. Don't go, if I would do this, if I would do that, it's all in your hands. You are the perpetrator of your tsaris, and you are the perpetrator of your geulas. You can ask for help, like the Baruch Hu could be lighting you the derech, but you got to take the way. You got to walk the way in order to arrive. So here we remaining, just to summarize, we have a pasuk that's been said in the Torah once. What's the point to repeat it again? And second of all, mostly I'm fine with the Bnei Israel going physically down to Mitzrayim in Parashas Shmos, but I'm not in Parashas Vayigash. But I am not fine with the Bnei Israel coming down while they passed away. And again, as the wording of the pasuk that the problem we raise, it's definitely something we have to answer. And finally, I would like to answer, what is ve'ele? The Midrash Parshas Mishpatim says whenever a pasuk starts with a vav, it connects you to what happened before. So what happened before that relatable to this pasuk? Nothing. So what are you coming to tell me? Remember, an introduction, every time someone gives a dissertation, a speech, it has to start with an introduction. Within the introduction, he has to introduce the theme that he's going to develop during the speech. So we are at the very beginning of Parashat Shmos. The introduction of Sefer Shmos. What are you telling me with this pasuk that has no head and no tail and very hard to decipher? Okay. Now that we went a little bit more than usual in the questions, because here we're going to take a path, the importance of this, we're going to take a path of light. There's 5 different lights. It says 5 times oir. The Midrash in Vayikra says it says 5 times oir in Maaseh Bereshis, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. Keneged Bereshis, Shmois, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim. 5 different lights. So the first one HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Yehi oir, let it be light. And what the second one is? Vayehi oir, and there was light. In other words, this one in Shmois is more, the light of Shmois is the expression, the physical expression of the light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu ordered in Bereshis. In other words, we benefit a lot more. So we have a lot more benefit to understand Shmois than we have to understand Bereshis. Bereshis remains in the abstract. Here, it's concrete. It's right here. We're talking about it. It's happening. No matter what, Sefer Shmois tells you how to use the light, because the light is here now. Before was how to create the light. Today is how. All right, so I need to understand. My life depends on the light, because when it's dark, I know who's coming. But here, if I understand the light, then I can come out. And a person can only be mekayim the mitzvahs only if he's in the light. In the darkness, there's nothing. Anyway, let's go to the Zohar, because the Zohar had most of the questions that we mentioned. He's asking himself, how is it possible that we're talking about the present tense when they were already nifta? So I'm not going to repeat the question, how the Zohar explains it, but the Zohar comes out with a side answer. And he says, you know who we're talking here? We're not talking about the Bnei Israel coming down physically down here. We're talking about the neshamas of Yaakov and his children. And when Yaakov and his children decided to come down to help the Yidden in the tsar of the enslaving of Mitzrayim, Hashem said, hey, hold back. I'm not letting you go by yourself. I'm going to send the Shekhinah with you. And I'm going to send also all the machnes of the Shekhinah. Meaning what? Meaning the 12 malachim that support the Shekhinah. Many times we explain, let me explain you a concept. It's very basic, but people only, you hear some guys that don't understand the right from the left in Kabbalah, is to tell you, a Shekhinah here and the Shekhinah up there, the Eretz Yisrael on top, the Eretz Yisrael. Me, I'll give you very precise. The Ramak is extremely precise in every definition. And in Pardes Rimonim, he explains everything. Started a very few times he remains, it says it's not clear. Very, very few times. But in general, every term has a definition. So when we say the Shekhinah is coming down with the Malachim, we're talking about the upper Shekhinah. What it means the upper Shekhinah and what is the lower Shekhinah? That's the concept. So I'm going to give you first a definition, and then we're going to be able to move. There's a Shekhinah in the 4th Olam, so we have Asiya, Yetzira, Beria, Atzilus. In Atzilus, that Shekhinah doesn't move from there. So what, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many Shekhinahs? Yes. The same concept that there is in the upper world repeats itself in the 4 worlds. The four worlds are only a cloth. So when the Shekhinah needs to come and help us, it goes first from Atzilus, shines, its light is going into the Olam HaBeriah, and now it looks like a Shekhinah from Olam HaBeriah, but it's really always the same. Then when it needs to go lower because the light cannot reach us, or there's too much darkness, and to help, it goes down one more step to Olam HaYetzirah, and then it has a double cloth, Olam HaYetzirah, Olam HaBeriah, then the Malchus of Atzilus. And if it's not enough, he come out with a third cloth, he comes down here with Olam HaAsiyah. And that's what we call the Shekhinah down below, the lower Shekhinah, when it's clothed up with the three cloth, and the upper Shekhinah is when it has no cloth. It's exposed. It's the true light of the Shekhinah. Now you understand Eretz Israel on top, Eretz Israel down below. Eretz Israel on top is the Shekhinah of the Atzilus that has nothing, pure light. When it's down below, he went through Beriah, Yetzirah, Asiyah, and that is Eretz Israel. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent with Yaakov, told the Shekhinah, go down with him, and you have 12 malachim, exactly like the 12 Shvatim. You have 12 malachim, so you have on the fourth side, Michael, Argaman, Michael, Gavriel, Bethal, and Uriel. And each one has two more under him. So 4 times 3, 12. And the Shvatim are here to receive the Shekhinah, the chariot of the Shekhinah when it's clothed with Olam HaAsiyah. And in other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yaakov and the Neshamis to go down back to Mitzrayim again to go help the Yidden. The tsar of the Yidden was so enormous that even Yaakov Avinu couldn't take it. The Zohar recounts a story that one time he was, I forgot who, not Rebbe Lazar ben Pedas. Let me check in my thing if I can find it in a second. Otherwise, I'm not going to hold you just because of names. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Abba. They were walking. They were on their way, and they wanted to rest. They rested on in the field on a stone, and all of a sudden they hear a voice crying. And they said, "Who are you?" So they told that he said, "I died 12 years ago, and I'm Jewish." And they said, "So what are you still doing here?" Because usually the neshama separates itself from the body, it goes up, only a tiny part of the nefesh stays with the body in order to revive him in Tchias HaMesim. He says, I cannot have menucha because my son was kidnapped by Goyim and I hear his cries, and how can I go and rest when my son is in the hands of Goyim? So Rabbi Yehuda is asking him, do you want to tell me that those who passed away are aware of the tsar of those livings? He says, yes, for sure. He says, he swore by the malach that's responsible on the neshamis. He says, I swear by his name that if he was not for the tefillas of those who passed away, the world will not be able to be standing for half a day. So they went, they got him, they redeemed him, and he became a big Talmid Chacham. He was a big tzaddik, that kid. And he came back in the dream and he thanked them, because now he could go to his menucha. Just to show you, there is like a peel of an onion between the two worlds. Only what? We start bringing the physicality into our mind, believing, going from an axiom, there's nothing after that. Guy is dead, he's gone. No, it's time to live. The first thing a person, when he goes to the other side, says, holy schmoly, had I known it that good, That's a long time I want to come to this. That's the first feeling a person has when he goes to the other side. Can you believe that? Anyway, so we see from here that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to help the Bnei Yisrael and send them back. And then they left. They went with them and they left. We learned last week, the week before, Yosef HaTzadik was the only one that was capable of living within Egypt, Mitzrayim, Ervasaretz, the Klippa. Why? Because he had bitten it. He was not the Yesod. He is considered the father of the Bnei Israel, the second father. So you have Yaakov Avinu as a big father, and you have Yosef. That's why it says in the Pasuk in Yeshaya, Eris Yosef, when we call the Bnei Israel at the end of times, we call them the remainders of Yosef. The Bnei Israel are called after the name of Yosef because he is the lower father. Why? Because like this neshama, it didn't go away. Not like look, the big tzaddikim, they all enjoy the Olam Haba. He stays with us. And because he stays with us, and the Shekhinah cannot separate itself from Yosef, so much he loves him, that she's with us all the time. Yosef was in Mitzrayim. That's the reason we learned that Yosef, and I'll prove it to you in the Lashon of the Pasuk today, that the Atzmos Yosef still were there only for that. The Shekhinah was there. How do you tell me, Zohar HaKodesh, that the Shekhinah was not there? If I'm taking the Pasuk, I'm going to show you something in the word. Share screen. Look at this pasuk. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised to Yaakov Avinu, Anochi ered imcha, I will go down with you. Mitzrayim, again, this Mitzrayim. Ve'anochi alcha gam aloi, and I will also bring you up. You could have said alcha. He doesn't say here eredcha, ered imecha. But here it says, it doesn't say ale imcha. It says, I will bring you back up. Gam aloi. It's a big side, this gam aloi. If we have time Shabbos, I'll explain you this pasuk. It's beyond description. Now we go back to our dear Ramak. Zechutzu Yagan Aleinu. Anoichi, who speaks? Anoichi Hashem Eloikecha. Anoichi is the Bina. Eloikim Chaim. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu is infinite. Cannot be encompassed into a word. Impossible. There's no pronoun to be able to define HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I. We say I. It means us because we're small. We say I. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's no I. So there's tremendous facet. The Bina is one of the lights of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Bina says, so the Bina is called Eloikim Chaim, the living God. And this is where the Olam HaTshuva, this is the whole Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, when we want to do tshuva and everything, is towards the Bina. Eloikim Chaim. Micha Moicha Varachamim Zoiche Eloikim. Every time is Eloikim Chaim in the Tefillas of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. So Anoichi is the Bina. Eredim Mecha, I will come down with you. Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim equals 385. Hashchina, I will send the Shechina with you. Ve'anoichi, but on the way back up, Alcha. Why? Because the Shekhinah has to stay there with the Bnei Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a haftacha, a guarantee that anywhere the Bnei Yisrael are, Imoy anoichi betzara. I'm always present with them. Whenever Am Yisrael suffers, the Shekhinah is there suffering. So on one hand, the Zerah said the Shekhinah went back. On the other hand, how is it possible? Yaakov Avinu had Ruach HaKodesh all the time. The Shifteka, they were tremendous tzaddikim. You want to tell me the Shekhinah was not living amongst them? Oh, because he was Mitzrayim. Sorry, we've learned that Eretz Goshen was the land that Paro gave to Sarah. So Sarah Imenu knew, which she is the Bina. Sarah Imenu knew the Bnei Israel are going to live there. So she was Mekadesh. She sanctified Eretz Goshen, so the Sitra Achra could not come in. The Ervas Haaretz could not seep into Eretz Goshen. So it was Kodesh. That's why it says in the Pasuk, if you pay attention, it doesn't say here, Ve'ele Shmois Bnei Israel Hayordim. They're going down. No, this time it says Haboim. They come. Why? Because Sarah Imenu daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that Eretz Goshen should be almost at the level of Eretz Yisrael. So there was no transition down. And therefore, it says every time they came. So why would the Shekhinah go away? Please tell me, why would the Shekhinah go away? It's impossible. The Zohar says in Parashas Vayigash that wherever there's a tzaddik, a big tzaddik, the Shekhinah is there. So you want to tell me, we're not talking about Yaakov Avinu. We're not talking about the Shvatim. We're talking generations and generations and thousands of years after that. The Zohar gives the Haftacha that wherever there's a tzaddik, the Shekhinah is right there with it. So you want to tell me the Bnei Israel were there, Yosef HaTzadik was there, and the Shekhinah was not there? What's the... So, in the other hand, if the Shekhinah was there, how did the Mitzrim, how were the Egyptians were able to enslave the Yidden? Doesn't make any sense, because the Shekhinah protects its children like a mother, protects its children. So how is it possible that they succeeded taking the Bnei Israel down? There's a tremendous side, and here we're going to start explaining what it touches us, and at the same time we're gonna answer everything. If I'm taking the last letters of these words, Ve'ele, Shmois, sorry. It's not the last letters. It's the first letters. Okay, I'm gonna go faster. If you take Vav, Shin, Beis, Yud, Hey, Habayim. Vav, Shin, Beis, Yud, Hey. Someone knows which word it is? So I'm going to tell you. The word is shvuya, captive in feminine. Somehow, the Shekhinah fell captive, and which would answer the two questions at the same time. She was there. On the other hand, she could not act. Why? Why are you captive? Who can captivate? Who can take hostage the Shekhinah? I understand Paro was tremendously powerful as a sorcerer. I understand the tumor there was tremendous. But why would there be would the Shechina fall captive to Paro? Shechina is a Kedusha. They can't touch it. The answer is Vatimole ha'aretz oisa. They filled the earth. Which earth? The Shechina. With what they filled it? With the bad deeds. In other words, when a person does something, this has an effect for all Bnei Israel. It's a choice you're making. I'm eating kosher, I'm eating not kosher. I'm doing this on Shabbos, or I'm not doing this on Shabbos. I'm davening with concentration, even though it's hard, or I'm not davening with concentration. You don't understand, oh, I can't concentrate today, Hashem, I'm sorry, I can't daven to you properly. But you got to understand that the davening is not for Hashem. To be honest, Hashem can kill us about you davening. That's not going to change his glory. But it's going to change you as a human receiving free bees from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be able to say thank you. Because this thank you will basically create a path. You know, I'm simplifying by saying just thank you. Create a path that you're going to get more shefa. You're going to get more. But if you're incapable of doing this, oh, why? Because now you're emotional. But you don't understand. Why do you feel the Lord dafka now? You have to break down the problem only for one reason. Because in truth, you are in need of the light of your praying. However, something you have done that is mekatreg right now that you should not be able to pray, and your tefillah should not be accepted. That's exactly what happens in Shammai. Now you look at this under a different light. It's not that I am tired, I can daven, I am this, I can go to my chavrusa, I can't learn. No. The fact that you have a stumble block in the middle tells you just the opposite. You are in dear need of this. But there's a kitrug. That's the whole Torah of the Ramah. How do I activate the Yud Gimel Midas? Without the Yud Gimel Midas, all life is Midas Adin. Only because we don't realize that we do sometimes deeds of chesed, of everything, so we activate the upper Midas. Otherwise, life would be, oh no, I'm good, you're judging yourself. I'm good, I'm doing this, it's enough for Hashem. In other words, it's such an issur to talk like this. Even to come out of the mouth of a Jew, it's so inappropriate. You don't do nothing for Hashem. Your very being is because Hashem is giving you. Right now, this time, you're still breathing air because Hashem is enabling you to breathe air. It's nothing with you. You don't exist. Even your neshama is a part of Hashem. So who am I? Nobody. Now we're starting moving toward a terrain that shows us that the Bnei Israel have started not following the path of Yaakov and the Shvatim. Because Yaakov and the Shvatim were not able, Paroi and his clique up there were coming with a very strong kitrug. You're not allowed to give them. You're not allowed to give them bounty anymore. We think we are successful. Success is an expression of keeping on what I'm doing. Definitely not. Definitely not. Success is just an expression of the goodness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that gives me, despite the fact that I'm not 100% correct. what I'm doing is not perfect, but it's still giving me. And I should use it as a springboard in order to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? Because I realize I don't deserve it and it gives me. So much more I have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu and try to bring more Kedusha, into myself in order to lower the other side for all of Bnei Israel. So it becomes a chiyuv on everyone to go down that path in order to enable the whole nation. Now, I gave you klalim, generalities. We're going to go into the psukim and see if that fits in the language. Because, it's a big thing to claim this is the Torah of the Ramak. Because the Ramak taught many, many things. But one thing he was so avid to teach the Bnei Israel is this point. If you look everywhere in the Ramak, every time he surrounds that point. In his Pirish on the Zohar, he goes every time, that's his shita. Let's go a little bit and I'm going to give it to you after that into one word. This whole thing, everything that we've learned today, into one word. The word Israel. You're going to be able to look at this word Israel, which is Yaakov Avinu, which is a holy word, because it has the word kel at the end. It has the word sar and the yud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu before us. Am I part of this? You got to start being critical about yourself. And I'm going to show you how the Shefa is coming down through the letter of that word. Someone who puts himself under this umbrella has the word Israel on top of his head, and that's what he's after. He's under the light. He's going to see with his eyes, it's not magefes happening outside, turmoil and everything, but his life will be like in the tropics, calm sea, beautiful sun, white beach, palm trees, and so forth. And this is something attainable. You see, many of the tzaddikim, speak about their lives. They didn't have this turmoil in their lives. They had some very difficult life because they chose to sacrifice themselves for Am Yisrael, like the Komana HaKadosh. All his kavanas are to fight the other side, the side of darkness. And he had a very hard life, like Yaakov Avinu, and so forth. These are tzaddik elyon but the kavanas of the Ari HaKadosh, everything is, leave the other side alone. You can beat him by raising yourself to a higher level and bring more kedusha to that world, because you become a bigger vessel for the light of the Shekhinah, so automatically you draw more light. So by transition, the other side will crumble. As you bring more light, there's more crumbling on the other side. It's going to be in that word I'm going to show you. And if Chaz v'Shalom, you're going through a difficulty, you have to know it's in that word. So let's go a little bit. So we said Mitzrayim always point out, it's not for no reason that the pasuk used that word, is to point that the Shekhinah came down. Remember, we learned this. The Yosef Hurad Mitzrayim. You can see every pasuk where Mitzrayim I say, and you will find soides. Because Mitzrayim is always the Shekhinah, so you have something. And Yosef, we asked the question, I'm not going to go back on it, just you have to remember, this equals 762 and what we said, and we proved it quite from a few proofs there, it was from the Galia Raza, Talmid of the Ariya Kodesh, the Zera Kodesh, Atzmois Yosef. Otherwise, if the Shekhinah was not with the bones of Yosef, you know what the Midrash said. So Paro knew that the Atzlacha was coming of Mitzrayim, the bounty of Mitzrayim was coming through Yosef. So he decided he will not let him go back, be buried in Eretz Yisrael. So, and the source of income of Mitzrayim is because of the Nile. So he asked his Khartoumim, his witchcrafters, sorcerers, what to do, which is Bilam. They said, put him into a coffin made of very heavy metal, put a lot of metal, so he will sink in the ore. He won't have menucha because he's not in the ground. And automatically it would be as if he's alive, and Mitzrayim will keep on receiving, the shefa, the success. Little did they know that by doing this, Yosef HaTzadik was there watching over his children and watching over the Shibud. But you see that the Yosef Urad Mitzrayim, here we have the Shekhinah, what the Zerah said, the Shekhinah was bounded to the Atzmois of Yosef. It's right there in the Pasuk. So it's not possible. We have to understand what the Zerah said before and answer at the same time all the questions that we raised in the Psukim. Now, let's go back to Yaakov. The Bina promised him, Anoichi eredimcha, I will go down with you, but I will send the Shekhinah. What does this mean? This Anoichi eredimcha, it's very close, but I don't want to say. I'll show you another number in a second. I'm going to jump board, but just to show you another number after that. Anoichi eredimcha is 8 times. It's like almost the Bina swore to Yaakov Avinu, Yud Kei Vav Kei. The way the Yud Kei Vav Kei is written in the Malchus, in the Shekhinah. 8, the 8th sphera from the beginning is the Bina. There we go. It's proven in the Pasuk, Anoichi, don't trust the Ramak, don't trust anything. But you have here, Anoichi Ered Imcha, is the Bina talking to Yaakov Avinu, giving the assurance that he will bring him back up. You remember when the Paroi said, actually I have it in the Pasuk on top, we can get the Bnei Yisrael, the Rav ve'atzum. I didn't know the Bnei Yisrael were learning fight. Like in America, you see the Jews. Jews are about practicality. Family, job, community, growing, politics sometime, unfortunately. But anyway, about growing life. So Paro says we cannot against them. Why? Because they're Rav ve'atzum. Rav ve'atzum equals 414. Equals R and Seif. Even an army, as the Zohar said, that when Yosef came down to Mitzrayim, he brought luck. The luck of Mitzrayim, which was a Eretz Avadim, a lower land, it became the nation ruling on the whole entire world. Paro was ruling on the whole entire world. Why? Because that oil was there and raised even the muzzle of a nation. Now, what happened? Paro recognizes that the Bnei Yisrael cannot be taken down as long as this oil shines upon them. You see the connection here? I'm sure a lot of guys would have tell you plus 2 words and 2 koilim equals the oil and so, but I don't know, In here it's 2 numbers, no. Turim said 1, not 2. So anyway, So we see now a dramatic difference. When the Bnei Israel, so he started Paro thinking about how to take them down, but he said, as long as this is on them, I can do nothing about and if you take the rest of the pasuk here, even though that the side we're gonna see Shabbos, we're gonna be so far away from what I'm saying right now. This equals 356, like the Oiref, the Nate, like Paroi. Yaakov Avinu was scared that Paro is going to use his body because he knew what he's going to do to Yosef, but it's not going to work. But he was scared that they're going to do Avodah Zarah, as it's brought down in the Midrash. So he wanted to be safe, and Paro did have the intention to do that because he knew that as soon as Yaakov walked in Mitzrayim, even though it was supposed to be 7 years of famine, right away it stopped. Because Yaakov came with the Shekhinah, with the bracha, the other side ran away. And all this is mathematical in the word sava, bounty, plentiful, and ra'av, famine. Everything is in these words. So we spoke about it, remember, in the past, probably in Parashas Vayigash, but I don't want to go into it here. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him the Bina, told him, the Shekhinah is going to have to stay down there, but I'm going to bring you back up. And the truth is, as the Midrash said, when Yosef came to Paro, said, my father made me swear, I told him, what is a shvua? It's not important. You don't have to follow what you promised to your father. It's not, it's no big deal. Yosef answered him, you're right. In that case, whatever I swore to you also, never to reveal that I know one more language than you, it's not important. I'm going to reveal to the Mitzrim. Paro turned around and said, Yosef, you don't understand me. You're crazy. You swore really to your father? I mean, you have to do it. A shvua is a shvua. You bounded by your word. You have to do it. Go take your father up there. That's the way the Midrash describes it. Just to show you that the truth, what Yaakov, whatever it says in the pasuk, when you look in the Midrashim, really Paro had the intention because he wanted to have the bounty staying in, because wherever Yaakov is, the Shefa is going to come to that land. Every land has a different minister, angel up there. And when the Bnei Israel are in Galus, as the Zohar say, why is Edom successful? Because the Bnei Israel are there. So when the Shekhinah, the Bnei Israel goes somewhere, the Shekhinah goes and dresses itself with the Malach of that land. Meaning everything that goes from the Shekhinah out, the brachas, the shefa, the parnasa, goes to the Sar, he gives it to his people, and the crumbs gives it to the Jews. When it was exactly the opposite supposed to be, the main dish for the Bnei Israel and the crumbs for the Goy. And now it happens just the opposite. So in Mitzrayim, Paro knew of all this. Paro was the Das. He was against Moshe Rabbeinu. So he knew exactly how the spirits of the Kedusha were working. And he was trying every possible effort to keep them. Now let's go back a little bit, even though I don't want to go into too much into this. But if we take here, stating that it's not, the language is incorrect. Shemois b'nei Israel, we say it's Yaakov. So what are you coming to tell me here? This equals to 1,349. And it's exactly Zeu Bris Ben Habesarim. Avram Avinu asked from HaKadosh Baruch Hu guarantees about his children. He didn't want to take it for granted. He said, I need a guarantee that my children, okay, I understand. They're going to be severely punished. But I need someone to watch over there from Shammai. Who's going to watch over them? And what he has to watch, because he was scared that they're going to lose the Judaism there totally, equals Kedushas Yisrael. That's what the Midrash said. Why did they deserve to go out? Because they kept the Kedusha, meaning they didn't change the name, they didn't go, all the... Okay. So, since the Malchus we learned was trapped from the first letters of this Ve'ele Shmois B'nei Yisrael Habayim, where was he trapped? So we took Ve'ele Shmois B'nei Yisrael Habayim. The Rashi Teves tells us Shvuya. Where? Take the last letters. Equals 490. Equals exactly why was the Shechina trapped there? Because the Bnei Yisrael, what it means the Shechina is trapped? It means the light of the Shechina cannot reach us anymore. Automatically, if you don't have sun, what do you have? Darkness. That's why the darkness took over. The sun and the nachash, the male and the female. And now the Shechina could not shine to protect. So Avraham Avinu wanted a guarantee that the Bnei Yisrael, someone is going to be able to watch over them. That's what the Zohar says, that the Shechina left. Not that the Shechina took off from Mitzrayim. It cannot take off from Mitzrayim. Yosef is there. But the Bnei Yisrael were not vessels anymore to receive the light of the Shechina, so the darkness came down on Mitzrayim. That's the vault here. That's what happened. And therefore, the light was going to the other side. So that was reinforcing the other side, and they were using this as a stick to make the Bnei Yisrael suffer. So, what happened? The Zohar reveals, as in Parashas Pinchas, that the Bnei Yisrael, when they saw the Tsar, like every Jew, what he does, he goes to the Beis HaChaim. He goes to the Kavaris of the Kedoshim. They went to the Shvatim. And they started davening. And they davened from the bottom of their heart. This shook up the Shvatim. The Shvatim went from there, and they went to Hebron, to the Maras Machpelah, and they started screaming, wake up, there's a tremendous tsar. There's a tremendous tsar by the Bnei Yisrael. Wake up. Right away, Yaakov Avinu got up. He heard from his children what's happening. He asked Rishus from Shammai to be able to go down. And this is when he told his children, we all gonna come down together. And we're gonna try to see if we can free the Merkava, the Shechina, and the Merkava, the chariot, and bring back light to the Bnei Yisrael, so they should have a Geulah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, not so fast. Yaakov Avinu, the Tiferes, is going to go out of Shamayim. And he's going to go out alone. Thing like this cannot happen. Remember, the Tiferes is what we call Kudsha Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Tiferes. I know some people are shocked when they hear this because they don't understand the right from the left in this. It's only a midah, the Tiferes. What's in the Tiferes? The Torah. Kutsha berichu and the Torah chadhu. It's one. Wherever you have the Torah, you have HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's the midah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the Torah. It's the Tiferes. Yaakov Avinu is going from Shamayim, from Atzilus, is going to go down. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you have to take with you the Shechina of Atzilus as it is, not through clothing, as usually comes down, meaning tremendous light is going to come out. Tremendous. That the other side will start backing off. That's why when Vayamois Melech Mitzrayim, when he died, there's another cloud. Melech Mitzrayim, we never talk about Paro. Paro has a name. His name is Paro. When we say Melech Mitzrayim, is always the angel up there. Right away, why did he die? Because the Shechina came out. And he can withstand such a light. And automatically from that time, the shibud, the hardship has stopped. So we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it took a lot, but everything it took came from us. In other words, Bnei Israel had to go and put their hearts on the kvaris of the Shvatim. The Shvatim went to their father. Their father went to Shammai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he asked Rishus to come down and help. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you're not going by yourself. Who triggered all this enormous thing? The tefillah of the Bnei Israel. If you take so we did not understand issue based on. Okay, and now I'm going to start giving you the side or the everything starts here. Now you understand the big story, what happened behind it. Bnei Israel were choitim, they do tshuva. Issue basoi equals 735. Equals exactly Malachi Merkava and Shvatim. These are the one that can. So why it's called Ish and why it's called Beisoi, there's a rule that the Zohar brings down exactly how the Shefa comes from Shamayim down to the person, to the individual. This rule is like this. There's no masculine, feminine, male, female in Shamayim. Whenever a person is on the receiving end, it's called the bais, a vessel in which the light is going to go. Whoever gives the light is called the male, because this is the ish. But that same ish is receiving his light from a level above him. So when he's receiving, he's called Beisoi, and the giver is called Ish, and so forth, so forth. That's why you see sometimes masculine, feminine being mixed up in the Torah. No, you have to understand when the feminine is used, it means receiving. When the masculine is used, means giving. Ish ubeisoi, proven in the word. The Zohar says, so when you trigger you come back truly, ad Hashem Elokecha. Hashem Elokecha is the Bina. When you reach ad is Gematria Dayan, which is the upper Dayan. So the Bina sees and say, what? This guy is genuine in this tshuva. We have to accept it. Once it's accepted, automatically the chokhmah is starting flowing chasadim to the bina to give to that person. And how he goes, I think I'm going to go on this, and you have to, I'm going to show it to you in the picture. Okay. The person is under here. He's going to go boom and go to the bina. The bina now accepts the tshuva and is going to start taking bounties from the chokhmah. Go to the chesed, go to the gvura, and both of them are going to pour in the tiferes. From a tiferes directly, it's going to go to the malchus. Why is it so important to understand? Because this is our fabric. All the 7 midas here have 10 others depending on them. The first 3 have 100. So here under, this is the single digit, whatever it's called. These are the dozens. And these are the 100. 1, 10, 100. Something is 1,000 here. Keser is Aleph from the word Elf. So these 2 only are 100. So if we count what's moving, 100, 200, 10, 10, 10, 10, 240. So says the Zohar, it goes 240 levels down, and it goes exactly to the address where it's supposed to go. Now let me decipher that side to you. I'm going to take a word with the vowels, not to have to rewrite it. Yisrael. If I'm taking the word Yisrael, I see a composition of 2 sets of letters. First, I have Eish, fire, and then I have Resh Lamed Yud, which is one of the 72 names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, do you see the goddess of HaKadosh Baruch Hu here? Not only the person sin, now he's making tshuva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is making sure himself with one of his 72 of the Shema Mefoirash that the bounty gets to him. What does he tell you? Exactly what we learned from the Ramak in simple words. But here we went 1 level under. If I want to be called in Ben Yisrael, which is guaranteed to have the bounty coming, the 200, because Resh Lamed Yud equals 240, right? 240. So if I want, when I do something, I have to do it with in my inside. It has to be like a fire. Automatically, you activate the letters. We don't realize nothing happens up there. Israel could have stayed there 400 years, 430 years. Only what? They had the presence of mind to go to the prey on by the Shvatim. And this triggered everything. And that's it. The Geula came by itself. They didn't have to do anything else. Esh, the Shefa comes. Then it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu that takes over. That's when the Ben Yisrael sees he doesn't get the Shefa. He should ask himself a question. When I do something, do I do it with Esh? Or maybe, gradually, I'm going to improve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I can't jump and become a Rebbe on the next day. But I will improve. That's all what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see from you. You putting an effort in the right direction. Automatically, you're Ben Israel on you. Even Paroi, even his Mitzchashvim, they can do mamish, they can do nothing to you. And what's the proof that they wanted to do it? And that's why we are in Golus after that, is when Paro said, and I'm finishing on this, did I bring it? So next passage. Hava nischakem aloi. Let's be smart. What means let's be smart? You said, Paroi, that when the Bnei Yisrael have the light, the Or Ein Sof shining on them, our side of darkness can do nothing. We cannot overpower them. So what do you want to do? Pharaoh told them, you bums, you don't understand. The only reason they have light is because they're tzaddikim. We have to entice them to the other side. It's gonna be gradual. And that's why Hava Nishak Maloi equals 571. Exactly like Bavel, Parasumadai, Yavan, Edom. It's the same story repeating itself. Why are we here? Because we made our own bed, and we can, the same way the Bnei Israel triggered the Geula, by coming full-heartedly back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the Bina, we can trigger the Geula, as the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, that when Yeshua ben Levi went to see Asil Yohanavi, when Mashiach comes, he says, why don't you go ask the Mashiach himself? So he says, where am I going to find him? You're going to find him in the shuk, and so he gave him a thing, how he does his bandages. So he asked him, Mar, when are you coming? He says, today. So the next day when he didn't come, so Eliyahu came to the Best Midrash, Rabbi Shimon ben Levi. So Eliyahu asked Rabbi Shimon ben Levi, what did he tell you? He said, he lied to me. So, the Mashiach lied to you? Impossible. What did he tell you? He told me yesterday he's coming today. He didn't come. So Rabbi Shimon ben Levi was really angry. He says, you didn't understand his words. Hayoim im bekoilos Ishmael. I'll come today. The day we listen to the words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we stop machloikes, we stop pirud, we stop hakpodes, we stop everything. Hayoim. That same day the Mashiach will come. Amen.
Amen.